You want to go ahead and start, or?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Kim, we're going to go ahead and start. All right. Welcome, everyone. If you'd rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call, please.
Oh, sorry, I'm waiting on you. Mr. Volrath?
Here.
Mr. Blanton?
Here.
Mr. Robinson?
Here.
I need a motion for the acceptance of the minutes from November 19th, 2025, the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the November 19th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Trustees.
Second?
Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes. Can I just ask, did we look into that a little bit more or not yet, Mr. Brett? About that program?
I will have one that we can try on this meeting and the next meeting as a demo.
Okay. Very good, thank you.
So, and then if we don't like it, we'll move on to the next demo.
Okay.
All right. A motion for the acceptance of the invoices.
I'll make a motion that we accept the invoices as presented by the fiscal officer.
All right, I will second.
Okay, Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
And Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Can I go back on the minutes? I would like to, I'm the one that gets audited on the minutes, so I would like to be part of that. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
And I don't know what
this is
they're
twice
talking about
that-
either.
So I would like to be, because on the minutes, I'm the one that,
Yeah, well, obviously.
Okay, but
when I
I'm
get it-
just-
When I get it to try, you'll be the first one to see it.
well, you just said you're
Well, what
trying
is
it on
it?
this meeting.
We'll be able to, so the way I think it works is
I'm fine with it, but I'd like to
ideally,
be part of it.
assuming that we're getting the meeting recorded.
Okay.
Even though we're not.
Okay.
You can simply play the recording into the program, and it will generate a set of minutes that you can then edit.
Compared to what I
Yeah.
have, okay.
So it should, if it works the way they claim it does,
Okay.
it should put everything into, we'll use your format. And it'll put everything into your format, and then you can go in and just edit it rather than have to type everything.
Okay.
Ideally, it should make
Right,
the
and I want
minutes
people to understand, minutes is not word to word, it's business. It's business only, it doesn't mean like, I went to Cleeswater, or Christmas parade. It's business, it's to the point and business matters, so
And
I just.
What I think a lot of people don't realize
Right, they
is
don't realize.
it takes 2-3 hours to do the minutes to a 2-hour meeting.
Right.
So if we can make that go faster for Cindy, then,
I just do it as I go. But, yeah, just wanted to ask that.
All right.
And just for clarity, I mean, this wasn't my idea, Mr. Brett. It was presented to him, I think, or Kim, or I'm not really sure. But they brought it up to me, and I said, I think that's a great, idea to just be more efficient, more.
No, that's fine,
I actually got a junk email from the company, and I thought, well, it makes
Again, you
sense.
should be communicating with the whole
Right.
board, including Ms. Ozier.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to get it and see if it worked before I spend a lot of time with it. So that was the idea.
All right, we'll move to the administrator's report.
All right, well, the first thing I had on my report was the Jordan Road water line, and I didn't have a price on the full extension for Phase 3. What I had was, that I sent to you, was an option to have the contractor demobilize and remobilize once the asphalt plant's opened. Their estimate was to use winter asphalt, which is basically the same as summer asphalt, except they charge you more because they're making it during the winter. And a price to bring the ditches up to the surface with flowable fill or concrete, and then come back and mill that out and put the final 3 inches in blacktop. So we went back and forth with Hamilton County over what they would approve, and turns out probably our best bet is to go with the winter asphalt, keep the contractor on the job. And back in May, we had approved a budget of $1,777,795 for this project. The original contractor estimate came in at $1,537,000, but we missed that phase 3 that we're doing now. So with adding phase 3, paying for the winter mix for the blacktop, we're at $240,725 above that original budget. His cost for the phase 3 was $412,915. That includes $30,000 of that winter mix budget for blacktop. And so my recommendation is we approve that $412,915 as the phase 3 amount, and have a total variance on our estimated cost at $240,725. And that price still has $17,600 worth of a contingency fee in case we find something.
How much contingency?
$17,601.94. So my recommendation is keep the contractor on the job, keep them going.
So we're doing all 3 options, or?
No,
What are you recommending? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I want to be clear also.
Yeah, so this is, I didn't have this price, but this is what I kept pushing for them to get to us. So in essence, I'm asking you to approve $412,915 for phase 3, and $56,950 worth of the winter mix asphalt. So that'll bring our total to $240,725 more than you originally approved for the project.
So the original approval was at $1,750,000, correct?
Yes.
So we're just pushing just under $2 million on this project.
Yes.
So what's the exact figure you're asking us to approve? The 240,000, am I on with this? From our original bid, is that correct?
Yes. From the original estimate.
Estimate?
So it would take the original bid to $1,949,000. Actually, $1,950,000. So, in round numbers. That also, one of the things that I was going to bring to you for a change order anyway, and it includes this and this price. We originally were not going to run the service laterals to the properties, but in speaking with the contractor and the engineer, it just made good sense while they were there and they were tearing things up to have them put the service laterals in. That way the homeowner only has to pay whatever the Cleves Waterworks tap fee is. And it'll make it a lot faster for them to be able to get taps and get water to their homes. Based on the price we have per tap, we had 25, 30, 33 taps, and that would, or 33 service laterals. That cost ends up being about $95,000 that I was going to bring to you for a change order anyway. And I think that it should save everybody. The engineer's estimate is the homeowner will save about $2,000 each by having us do that. Plus, they won't have to go back and tear up the road and tap the water line while it's hot. It'll all be done. So while this sounds like a lot of extra money, there's some things that we put into this that are going to be good for the people that live there and make it a lot easier for the village of Cleves with the waterworks just having to put in their taps, since the service lines will already be run to each property.
So they're just approving to increase the contract at that 240? 240,725, right?
to increase that original estimate. But
Okay.
the contract amount that we approved was $1,537,000. So we need to increase that to basically $1,950,000. So it's $240,000 more than we originally, 241.
So the original approval was $1,750,000.
Original.
Pricing at 1,537.
Yeah,
We had to add the 412,915 to that
correct.
for phase 3.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
So,
I got it. All right.
So what's the total amount that we need to add? Do we need to add 2, or we just need to add 1? I just want to be clear on this, at 240,725,
to the original budgeted amount,
we need to make that a motion?
yes.
Okay. Ray,
Is there
any
any
discussion,
discussion?
questions on this?
I mean, I'm, obviously, no one's happy about this, but I also believe that we absolutely made a commitment to the residents of Jordan Road, and I think that, according to our administrator, this is the most efficient and expedited way of dealing with this issue, so it's a tough pill to swallow, but I'm on board with it because I think that the folks there deserve water, and we promised that we were going to get that to them, so.
All right, Ms. Borath.
All right, I will make a motion then to, I guess, increase that price up to another $240,725 to that $1,950,000.
And I will second it.
Okay, Mr. Volrath?
Yes?
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, thank you, and I'm sure the folks on Jordan Road will be pleased with that outcome.
Yeah.
So, next on my list was the West Park expansion, which is going well. Site Solutions is making good progress. They're a little bit behind because of the weather. They did get the drainage pipe in that goes across the corner of the soccer field, so they'll be able to get that reseeded and good for spring soccer, I think.
Mr. Brett,
Yes.
did they do that yet? Because they tore the soccer field up, and I don't think it's going to be ready. Is there something, can you talk to them and see about possibly putting down sod instead of reseeding?
Yeah,
Just on the
field itself.
Everything else can be seed.
Yeah.
So just so we don't lose the playing surface.
Yeah, we can do that. So one of the questions that went a little bit unanswered was, and they actually needed an answer today, was the color of the light poles. So we had picked a sign that was bronze. The poles in the existing park are bronze, so Heather recommended that we just stick with that, and I think that was fine. Otherwise, I would have called someone and asked about it, but it was kind of a last-minute thing. So I have on the agenda later on that I have a draft version of our employee handbook, which I still have a couple things to change, so you'll be getting that before the end of the week. But if you have any questions or want to make any changes to that, let me know between now and the next meeting. And I'd like to approve that at our organizational meeting. Just one thing on upcoming events. Our Winter Wonderland takes place this Friday, December 5th. And that's always a great event here. Water softener issue at Station 69, we're still working on that. After talking with Tim about the system he was familiar with and talking to them, I then found out from the chief that the existing system wasn't working all that well beforehand anyway. Not sure why, but we had canceled our service contracts on those. And so I'm not sure if it's because it wasn't being serviced or if it wasn't working well, but we're now exploring different options for a new system for that. I had mentioned a cell tower. I'm still working with the leasing agent on that. There's nothing new. The Ohio Township Association Winter Conference this year, normally it's the last week of January. This year it's the first week of February. So assuming that at the organizational meeting you remain with the current meeting schedule, I'd recommend that we cancel the February 4th meeting or move it so everybody can attend that conference. It's the 4th through the 6th.
I think we'll just cancel, my recommendation would we just cancel, and if we need to call a meeting, a special meeting, we can always call a special meeting.
Yeah, and you can just do that at the organizational meeting, just set it up so that you don't have a February meeting
Right.
this year.
Okay.
So, and one of the reasons I bring that up is the OTA discount for on housing for hotels is running short. So if you're going to go, you might want to get your room booked. So, and I missed this because I get this email from the Township Association, the Hamilton County Township Association. I missed the original email that Tom Weedman, the president, sent out. But this Saturday at 8:30 is the combined Township Association Ohio Municipal League meeting. I'm going to try to make that. So I talked to the administrators at Green and Delhi this morning, and nobody from either of those places is available to go, but our legislatures are going to be there, so everybody from the State House. So we're going to definitely talk about the property tax issues, and might be nice if it's a smaller crowd so we can get a little more of their attention. So just wanted to remind everybody of that. Just today, Kim and I both received from Energy Alliances the past 12 months through last month savings on the electric program and natural gas program. So over the past 12 months on the electric program, residents who are participating in that saved $230,811.94, or about $82.58 per customer that's participating. If you recall the natural gas rate, we didn't go with them for a while because there wasn't a good rate out there, and then we jumped in when we got a better rate. So for over the past 12-month average, residents have saved $84,126 or $36.62 per customer. So for the people participating who don't want to go out and watch it every day and try to find a better rate, I think the aggregation program's working very well. And that's all I have on my report, unless you have questions for me.
Questions for Mr. Brad? All right, we'll just move along. Let's see. All right, we can go, we'll do executive session last. We'll do public comments. If anyone would like to address the board, you're welcome to come on up. Mr. Oakes?
Why can't they just use that flowable fill instead of having a winter blacktop? It gets as hard as concrete.
What is it, Kirk?
Where they're digging up the road.
Yeah.
He's saying we have to pay all that for winter blacktop. That flowable fill will do the same thing. If you're gonna repave the road later, why not just do the flowable fill?
We don't know when they're going to repave it later. I asked Mr. Brett that beforehand. We've touched base with the county engineers, and they said it's not within the next 2 years. Is that correct?
Well, right now, although I did tell him how bad a shape the road was in and that we wanted to see if they could move that up. So,
Right, so would this save us money, what Mr. Oakes is talking about, or not?
no, because the county ends up spending more money if we, so that's something that I asked the contractor, and then the contractor actually explained it to me, and then I checked with Strasser, who we have do our streets. If you have concrete or flowable fill, they have to come in, and the county requires them to mill that out and put 3 inches of blacktop back in. Because if you have that, and when the county has somebody do it, they just come in, they'll do the entire road. Well, if you get that blacktop or flash fill. I'm sorry, flowable fill. I used a trade name. But if you have that in it, that contaminates the blacktop, and then they can't use it for what they do our roads with. So then the grindings become basically just fill for someone, so they can't reuse them. That's why they charge more if the county has contaminated fill. So we looked at that. I was like you, I thought that made it easy. You just put flowable fill in. It's easy to mill out when you get it done. But unfortunately, technology has come past that. So,
All right.
good question, though.
Mr. Moreland?
Yeah, I got a couple things here, and I don't know whoever wants to answer it. Just to be, everyone's on the same page, and these gentlemen are here that live on Jordan Road. It was under my understanding, what I just heard, that we are going to give the property owners a service tap from the main to the property line at the cost of the township, correct?
A service lateral, not the tap.
You have to put the tap in to put the
Well,
service
yeah,
line.
not the meter. I'm
Not the
sorry.
meter. So
Correct.
these homeowners will be responsible from their property line to the residents.
Correct.
That's the way it always was.
Yes.
So nothing has really changed.
No.
Nothing has really changed, because we discussed this on tape months ago.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure everyone's here, because generally it's about a $3,000 tapping fee. And that means when they go to the main and get it to your property, you will not be charged. We're all on the same page, right?
Yeah.
You'll be responsible from the meter in, and a plumber or someone will have to install that. So since we got that out of the way, I want to switch here to the firehouse. I go by there quite often. I notice that firehouse has been down, and I want to say consistent, and I could possibly be wrong. I'm not so sure anybody's been in that firehouse for weeks. Am I correct?
They're not running a crew out of there, but they are working out of there.
Doing what?
Just maintenance and
Well,
training and
maintenance,
things like
but
that.
The firehouse is for the fire department. We are not dispatching firemen out of there at this
Not
time?
unless they're there for other purposes. They're there, when I say maintenance, they're doing maintenance there. They're doing training there because they have the tower and things, so. But in general.
I never see a personal vehicle in the parking lot, so that tells me there's no employees there.
Correct.
Now, is that due to staffing, or is that due to the problem we have with the water
It's
softener?
due to the problem with the water softener.
And how soon do we think that's going to be remedied, fixed, or corrected?
Tim and I think we can decide on a softening system within the next week. And then it just depends on what we choose, if it's in stock. But it was kind of a shock to me when the chief said what was there wasn't working well. And so we want to make sure that what we get works well. And we don't know if it wasn't working well because it wasn't being serviced, because the service contracts got canceled. Because with anything, like with anything else, if you don't maintain it,
Right.
it doesn't work. So we're trying to do our due diligence, make sure that we put something back in that will be serviceable for years to come.
So when you find this or choose which softener the township's going to use, now are we going to use the existing contractor that did the plumbing when we built the firehouse, or are we going to put this out for bid, or how are we going to do that?
Depends on who we buy the system from and how they do it, but right now, Nair Plumbing has been the person who's been doing the work there. They didn't do the original installation. They pointed out some things that they would have done differently and recommended some changes. But so we'll take those into effect. One of the, as a for instance, the pressure reducer was just blown out by a water surge, and I don't think that should have happened. I think they should have had a better one. Everybody knows that Cleese Waterworks has great pressure. They have for years had great pressure, so you need to have a pressure reducer that is made for that type pressure.
So
And
we talked about an insurance claim in the last month. Is that still possible that the township can get that?
Yes.
Or we're just forgetting that?
no,
So if you're going with an insurance claim, you're basically telling the community that it was a surge of pressure that caused this. I'm sure the contractor had to build this. It's only 3 years old, am I right? The firehouse, I'm sure they
5.
built it, or whatever. I'm sure they built it to the specifications that were on the drawing. So you can't really go back to the existing contractor, I'm assuming, so.
We haven't been.
We're going to go with a better regulator, that this doesn't happen again?
Yes. There's no way I would put back the regulator that was there. That's based on Nyer's recommendation, and we've worked with them long enough that.
And Kenny Nyer was not the contractor that
No.
installed? Okay.
He did not build
So
that system.
We're going to a second opinion, which is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed the ambulance is always gone. So we got this ambulance staged at different firehouses while this one's closed?
Yes.
And
Yeah, we have the same staff.
we have
So we
the
have the
same staff,
same number of
just
people.
pulling out of one of the others?
Yeah. Since this incident, we've had about, don't quote me on this because it's going to be in the chief's report next meeting, but I think they've had about 16 runs to that district when they weren't there. So,
So basically, let's hopefully in the next 30 days, you can have this remedied.
we're hoping.
Okay, that's all I got. Thank you.
Yes, Eric, go ahead.
Maybe this sounds like a silly question, but what's special about a water softener in the firehouse that would be different from a water softener in the house?
The size and volume. So, other than that, they basically do the same thing.
I just wonder why somebody can't go to Home Depot and buy a water softener and install it.
Because of the size and volume, and quite honestly, I don't think the quality that you'd buy at Home Depot would.
40, 50
Well, I'm
grand.
just using that as an
Yeah.
example.
Yeah,
But
Yeah, I mean-
it seems so much more involved than if the water softener at my house goes bad, I go get one and I fix it. Why is there so much more crap with this? Why
I do not know.
I don't get it.
Commercial.
I hate to, I hate to
Commercial
think that
grade,
we
I'm
spend-
sure.
I hate to imagine how much we spent on that firehouse, and the water softener has it out of commission. And it's been out of commission for how long?
about a month.
This is,
It's, and
I hate
it's
to
ruined
say it, but
fixtures.
it's unacceptable, gentlemen. In my opinion, that's unacceptable.
Do we have estimates or
Oh,
proposals?
we had
or
an
not?
estimate on the last one, which is why we're looking at,
More. Were you
Different
going
one.
to tell them how much it was? Because it was astronomical.
It was a little over $74,000.
74 grand.
So that's why we're looking at other alternatives, is
Me
that
never
right?
being a fireman and per se knowing what all goes in there, I just can't imagine that them living there, staying there, what, would use any more water supply than we would use in a normal house. Flushing the toilet, doing the laundry, cooking, doing dishes. They're not running it through the fire hose. So I don't understand why it has to be such a large capacity
It's
system, so expensive.
It's very similar to like the schools, like any commercial building. But you can't just go get a residential unit and stick in there and expect it to work. So,
All right.
Okay. I just don't understand.
Any other questions?
I have a question. I may have missed it, but I'm confused as to the extra money for Jordan Road, exactly what that is for.
so when we originally put the contract out for bid for engineering, this is engineering, nothing to do with the contractor who's doing the work. We gave them an address to engineer the project to. They used a parcel number instead of an address and stopped their design short of where it needed to go. So when we put the project out to bid, it was out to bid for that parcel number instead of the correct address, which is why none of us could, well, at least I couldn't figure out why we had estimated so much money for this project, and all of a sudden it came in so much less. But we were happy because it came in less. And we found out when they got it all out, got it marked and everything, that they were short. So they had to come back and pick up where they left off. And we were calling that phase 2. So we just picked up where we left off, called it phase 3, and took it to the original spot that it was supposed to go to, which is why it's right in line with what it was originally going to cost us. But it was a mistake by the engineer, and everybody that looked at it didn't catch the mistake. So it was just one of those things that a lot of us looked at it, didn't catch it, and it was a mistake. So, and engineer, and then we had a project company helping us with it, JS Held. They didn't catch it. I didn't catch it.
And obviously, work has to be done. I'm not saying.
Yeah, and it was a mistake. And I take as much responsibility as the engineer in making that mistake. And it shouldn't have happened.
Basically, they were running water and everybody already had water. Stop the short of us.
Well, the other folks didn't have water, but the people who were the most vocal and pushed for this project were getting shorted.
Basically, they misjudged the plans.
Yeah, they misdesigned the plans, and they're not charging us for the additional work. In my budget sheet, the original estimate from JS Held for the project management part of this was $133,000. They cut that back. They stopped charging us for anything because they know that we're doing this. The contractor has been very good with the extension costs. So, everybody's.
The next question as to why it wasn't included in the initial.
Yeah, it should have been,
So.
and it was just a mistake.
Out of curiosity, who was the engineer?
Abercrombie and Associates. So it wasn't like we went out and got somebody who hadn't done hundreds of projects. I mean, they're well vetted, they're well known, and I just don't have a better explanation.
All right. Comments from the board before we go into executive session?
I have another question.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, Laura. Go ahead.
On the last meeting, you said something about the township paying for, helping to pay for pavement. I think going in for, you said you were approached by a developer?
We're still working on that project with them. We're not any further along. Actually, so Mr. Beck didn't stay, he was here earlier. We checked in the parcels that he's working on and the parcels he wants to expand on had homes on them when the TIF area was developed. So they were not part of the TIF. I'm now checking to see what it takes to make that part of the TIF so that we can't even offer him any help until we can make it part of the TIF.
Which development is it?
James Landing, which will be just past Baker Insurance, just up the road past UDF, Baker Insurance, where they're tearing the houses down.
Condos?
Yeah, so they're doing the original 62 condo units without asking for any assistance, but they're talking about expanding behind the homes that are on up Bridgetown Road, and the utility work for that would be a lot more, but it would also be, I think we figured, a $3 million project.
Have you guys ever done that before? Have you ever assisted a developer with residential properties?
I don't know that.
Not
We
since
haven't.
I've been here. No.
Not since I've been here.
Yeah.
Cindy, you've been here 30 years, right?
Yeah, no, it has not been.
There's
Well-
money for that.
Well, it would increase our tax base by $3 million. Actually, it might be, they've caught me without my notes. I believe
other
it was
places
$9 million.
Didn't you say chlorine in other places?
The
do that?
developer is doing a project in Green Township right now, and they're offering half of what the TIF would bring in And that's basically what he was asking us for, is if we would contribute part of our TIF income, not 100%, but part of it for a certain number of years to help make the project work, because the infrastructure to do that project is so expensive.
I understand that. I'm just curious because I
That's
did
crazy, I
comments in the last several meetings about TIF funds and the potential changes with property taxes and so forth, and being more diligent with our money. So I'm just kind of wondering why we would entertain that idea.
I'm not sure that they would. So, but
Would that set a
You haven't
precedence
even-
legally? Would that
we
set
haven't even
precedence
talked
you
to
would
us
have
about
to do
it.
that for other developers in the township?
well, that's one of the reasons you can have a TIF, is to assist in development. So,
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
because I
No,
wasn't
it's-
sure.
yeah, that's one of the legal reasons you can have a TIF. That's what you can use TIF funds for, is to,
But would you
yeah.
have to do that for every new development going in?
No,
Because there
you
was
wouldn't have
something
to.
You did it for them, so why wouldn't you do it for us?
so, well, that would be
Well, that's what we
a
have to
decision that
address.
the trustees would have to do on every development. Sometimes, you may have a development that the trustees say, we don't feel like that's good for the community, we're not going to contribute to it. And, I've seen communities,
We've ever
know,
contributed to anything.
developments want communities to take,
Developers are making all the money in the long run.
yeah, but if
I
they're,
mean, so here we are pumping millions into that for them to make money.
well, believe it or not, the amount, and it's, figuring out what a TIF will bring in is extremely difficult. But it wouldn't be millions of dollars, it would be, maybe, a couple, 300,000, depending on how much the board decided to put towards it. But my recommendation would be we'd never give more than 50% of the TIF funds away for a certain number of years, because why would we do it and not get any money for, whatever it would be, for 10 years, get no tax dollars from it, and still have to provide the services. That's just my opinion. That if the board decided to, give them 100% of the TIF, then that would be fine.
So they say that they won't develop unless they have the TIF funds?
He didn't say that. He just asked, and
No, I'm just wondering.
No, and
if that was, because that's where I felt like that was going.
Oh, and no-
That he
Raise the
wouldn't
prices.
develop unless he had TIF funds.
Raise the
to
prices.
So-
do it.
no, and
Condos.
I don't blame him for asking.
From say, yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm just
so-
asking.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's
clarification.
pretty much, standard anymore for people to ask governments for help. But doesn't mean, I'm thinking of one neighboring community that somebody wanted to put in land dominiums, but they wanted the local township to own the road. Well, there was no reason for, I don't want to mention the township, but there was no reason for them to own the road, and that would set a precedence for them to, put public streets into private developments. And, I agreed with those trustees that, they weren't going to start that precedence, even though it would have been a really nice development. And it would have brought in some tax dollars, and that's what the developer was looking for. But long-term maintenance on the roads, we spend a lot of money on road maintenance, and there's just no need for the township in that case to get involved. And I think they went to the neighboring village or city, it was a city, and asked them for help too, because it was going to cross over from township to a city, and the city also turned them down on that.
Right.
So-
My point is that I think that has to be thoroughly looked into
Absolutely.
to see how it would benefit the township before.
Yeah, I agree.
The developer to
And
make
When, I haven't seen anything on this yet.
I
You
just,
mentioned it one time.
I mentioned it at the last meeting and then
That's
found
it.
out it wasn't part of the TIF, so I've been trying to figure out how we can make it a part of the TIF, because there's no sense in bringing it to you if we can't TIF it. So,
Okay.
This turned into a pretty lengthy conversation, so, Mr. Brett, you deal with a lot of different jurisdictions, and you're familiar, and you've been around for a while, and so is it not true that many other jurisdictions around us utilize tactics like this in an attempt to lure development, like you just said, that they believe is a benefit to their community?
yeah, I think the best recent example of that would be where Green Township built their new police station, and then they also improved the property around that, and they have the new Cooper Hawk Winery and Restaurant in. And I think they also did that with the BW3's area. So, and they've got another development that they're doing that we probably lost out on a business that was interested in here. We probably lost out on that to that new development. So we're still working on finding someone for that property, but.
So this routinely goes on elsewhere, and that many other jurisdictions believe that it is, and they've done their homework, and they have larger staff than we have, and they believe that it's been a benefit for them and worked very well for them, and they're very happy with negotiating with potential developers in a way to just bring new amenities, new restaurants, new whatever to the area, and it's been a tax advantage. Like you said, it expands the tax base.
And there are other things out there, community reinvestment areas,
Sure.
Things like that you can do to entice developers to come in.
Right.
Yeah,
He's talking about something residential, and you're talking on something that's commercial.
I'm both.
I
Both
use
residential and
commercial as an example.
Right. So in both instances, it is a way to, if it's a project, whether it's residential or commercial, that you think is a benefit to the community, expanding the tax base, that is something that routinely happens in other jurisdictions, to where they will negotiate things like this, deals like this.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
and the numbers are
And we don't
starting to come back
to get into all the numbers, but,
No,
but just, I think it was, really painted as a negative thing, and that this is something that, I'm not saying we do it, I'm not saying we don't, but it's normal for a developer to come and ask questions like this,
Yeah.
and then have a board of trustees entertain it and discuss it and figure out on a case-by-case basis whether that project, and it doesn't necessarily mean if you do it once that you have to do it every single time, that at a case-by-case basis, you look at the whether you think that it is a plus, a huge plus, a net wash, or something that you don't even want at all. And you could look at that on the surface and say, this is something we want, or this is something that, we're not interested in.
Exactly.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
We haven't did it since I've been here, and Cindy's been here 30 years, and we've never done it. I'm not saying I'm against it.
Right,
I'm just
right.
saying we can definitely look into it. So then we got to try to move along. Go ahead.
I understand that other townships, areas, whatever, may do this, but just as you just said, we've never done it here, which I'm not saying I'm against that, but other townships, surrounding townships are much larger than us and have much more revenue. And like you said a few minutes ago, there's a lot that would have to be factored into this, and you would have to sit down and figure out the pros and cons of that.
And part of that would be,
It would be beneficial for us.
yeah, and part of that would be, what is that long-term benefit to the township?
Right.
And,
So the TIP money would go in to this project, to the developers.
it would come.
To generate revenue and tax dollars via property taxes that would
We're
then
not gonna
go, get pumped back into the township's general fund.
It
Correct.
actually goes the other way. The
Right.
township would collect the TIF money,
Uh-huh.
and then our current TIFs are, we agree to make the school districts whole. So they get their tax money. Cindy writes them a check every time we get a check. And then the trustees may say, you know what, we're willing to pay 20% or 50% or whatever percent of what comes in from that TIF
For
area.
their parcel.
Their parcels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reimburse the developer for their expenses.
Okay.
So there are some situations where townships will sell bonds and guarantee the bonds with TIF money to do developments. I'm on the more skeptical side of that because that's more speculation that somebody's going to come and build when you're putting money into infrastructure and there's no end user there. But if you have an end user, I'm trying to think of somebody that we would like to have. The Kroger in Hooven is probably a good example. Yeah, that property had a 200-year lifespan as a C&D landfill. The township did a community reinvestment area because they didn't offer a TIF at that time. And the developer wanted to do a TIF and have TIF money to pay for the infrastructure. And the trustees at that time, and I was one, said, you know, if they build a Kroger, the satellite companies are going to come. So there was no need to give him an incentive to develop those other properties, and we were correct on that. You know, they built those other properties, and people came, and they're renting them. So I think that was a good decision at that time.
But is that commercial?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all commercial down around Kroger's on 128
So
and 50.
that's what I was getting at, is what you're talking to specifically with this developer, though, is residential.
Correct.
Correct. So those property taxes work differently than a commercial property tax does, correct?
Yes. So there's less money for the TIF, less income for the township from the in development. So because commercial properties are taxed differently.
And the point, the procedure that you just explained may change in the future with the tax issues. So all of that may change, and my point is, I feel that we need to watch the TIF funds.
Well, I certainly agree with that. I know the board has all individually told me they agree with that. Cindy and I have talked about
I
that.
just wanted to make sure I understood
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's difficult.
All right, any other questions? All right, we'll go to the board. Mr. Robertson?
As was stated, again, we have Winter Wonderland this Friday. I hope everyone can attend and kick off the weekend of holiday festivities, followed by the Christmas walk the following day. And just a reminder that we do have the event center manager position still open and taking applications. And I know that there were some emails that went around. Hopefully, we handle that just like we've done with any other hire in the past. And then, yeah, proceed just like we've done and be consistent. So that's all I have.
All right, Mr.
Volrath?
Volrath, I'm sorry.
My name. I just wanted to add to all those festivities coming up on the 13th of December is the Wreaths Across America piece. And I believe that's at noon.
Noon at Maple Grove Cemetery.
So
Never
that's
attended. Go ahead, I'm
It's a
sorry.
great event. Even when it's cold out, it's a great event. So if you get the opportunity to come out and support that, that's great.
All right, Ms. Ozier?
Yep, we had our final fiscal finance meeting last, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday for 2026. It was a great meeting, a couple hours. We had a lot of discussion on, you know, a lot of questions about the general fund and TIF, which is normal. So we had a good meeting, and Chief Schuman was there. A lot of it's fire. Most of the questions are fire. So I believe I sent you guys that. I believe we're going to approve that maybe at the next meeting.
We'd like to approve the appropriations at the next meeting, so Cindy doesn't have to change temporary to permanent.
Right, and it just gives me more time to work on it too. I mean, if you guys need to wait to organization meeting, that's also fine, but it just gives us a little time to get everything, meet with the fire department, set up the purchase orders, and just get ready to, and help Kim with the payroll, and just, yeah, just makes a big difference. But if you guys, I sent it to you, if you need it again, let me know. I think I sent it and put it in your box. If you need another copy, let me know if you want to sit down and go over it. Jim and I have, and Chief Schuman have gone over it several times, just the three of us. So Finance Committee met 3 times, and they were totally fine with it and moving on, and so that's all I had.
All right, sounds great. So, Mr. Burkle, so 12/6, Saturday is the Christmas walk in Cleves. Saturday is Christmas walk in Cleves,
It
correct?
starts at 11 o'clock
It runs till when?
and runs till probably about 7 when the parade is complete.
Okay, and then the parade starts with Santa's going to be arriving on a fire truck, is that right? Santa?
Yes,
so, yeah.
at 6.
Yeah.
Parade's at 6, I think.
Right, that's what I'm asking, I'm making, so I'm just trying to put it on the record.
Okay.
So the parade starts at 6, so it runs 11 till 7.
Yeah, and the Reds mascots will be there at about 5:30 for parents, grandparents, kids have the pictures taken with them, and so they'll be there too.
All right, and then the Legion?
Yeah, Legion will be open from, I believe, 9 to 4. So,
Talk about the Legion.
Yep.
yep.
So they always have crafts.
Yeah, we got, I think there's 3 different craft tables there. We're going to have some pictures from Santa in the morning, and there'll be some crafters inside. I think there's going to be some carolers that show up there, so should be a nice event.
Yeah, that's good. So I just got one more thing. So we have talked about this the last couple of years, and it's never taken off. The last time we talked about it is the Safe Haven Baby Box, which are installed in firehouses. So across the country, the states that are eligible. So I emailed them again today. I have information, some facts, if you want to pick one up afterwards. So it's something that I'm going to pursue. I'm hoping the board is fine with me working with Mr. Brett and picking this up. I talked to them, Safe Haven Baby Box today. I have all the email literature, and I can make that available if anybody wants a copy of it. And then they're sending the contract to me so we can send it to our attorney and have him go over it. And then there's step-by-step instructions of what the cost of it, and we'll look at it. I'm not asking for approval to put it in, just to move forward on it and look at it and see as far as the contract goes, and it's something that the board would like to do, which I would like to move forward on it as early this year coming up. So, but I just wanted to make that a discussion. I don't really need a motion for anything, right?
No.
On that? Okay.
No, I would note that,
Can I?
sure.
I mean, I brought this up when this conversation happened in the past. I think the Delhi put one in, and then there's been one, I think in Claremont County, I want to say it might even be the Miami Township or Union Township up there. There's been some up in Butler County, and there's an activist who is an attorney who has questioned this extensively and created quite an upheaval at each and every one that has pursued this. And in my conversations with the Delhi Township trustee previously, their advice for me to extend it to our board was to just hang tight and wait until the legal disputes were kind of figured out and wrapped up, and so they told me just to not to pursue it at the time. I think it was a year and a half to maybe 2.5 years ago, maybe more. I don't remember when I brought this up previously, but they said to to make sure that we weren't getting ourselves into hot water and big legal dispute. Now, maybe in the last few months that has been resolved. I don't know, but I think that we need to do our homework and make sure that we're not getting into something that is a huge.
I'll check with Skylar at Delhi and make
They
sure
addressed that in here
that's,
in the packet.
Oh, good.
Existing states with legislation passed. The following states have legislation passed in order to allow for the placement of safe haven baby boxes, and Ohio is one of them. Okay, so
I know that they did a ribbon cutting, I think up at Butler County within the last 2 or 3 weeks, and there was a big ordeal, and again, this activist created all kinds of negative media attention on that, and I saw a little bit of that. That doesn't mean it legally can't happen, I just think we need to go in with eyes wide open and understand, you know, if we're going down this route.
All right.
And we didn't,
Start working on it.
actually, about a month ago, I had a inquiry from a resident, actually from the Village of Cleves, who said, has the fire department ever considered putting one of these in? So
Yeah,
I
I've
can
had
now,
several people ask me about it,
so I can now tell her we're considering it. So,
all right. Anything else from the public? We're getting ready to go into executive session, I believe.
And just one thing.
Mr. Morlock?
The previous meeting, we had a gentleman in the back, I don't know his name, that was trying to get on the finance committee, and I remember you guys tabled it. Has there ever been a decision on whether to bring that gentleman on board, or?
No, Cindy, do you want to comment on it or not?
Mr. Brett and I, we just closed out the year. We'll meet again next year, but right now, we're just gonna wait.
We're going to leave
We
the
have a
board
good
the way it
committee
is.
the way it is, and no offense to anybody back there, but at this point,
So he was trying to come on for 2026, am I right?
well, we had a meeting last week, but that would have been like pretty darn quick to get on and learn everything, and, you know, when we've already met, I mean, we would have had those people come to that meeting just to understand how the process goes, but yeah, kind of late for.
How many people are on that census?
Right now, we have 3 residents, the 2 of us, and then Chief Schuman comes to all the meetings, because it's 90% of it's fire. So, yeah. Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to move to executive session to consider the compensation of public employees as permitted in ORC Section 121.22.
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Can I see your
And that's at
ORC
4:15.
number again?